AITA for walking in on my roommate having sex. I've been living with my roommate for about a year now. He is a nice fellow and we get along just fine. His girlfriend is often around and is also a very nice person. We never really had problems so far. I do not generally stay at home for long periods of time. It's essentially just a sleepy place. I work a lot of hours and a lot of overtime. It's the nature of my job, since I am still new on my workplace and all of that. Usually, I get home around 10 or 11 in the evening and leave my home at 8. So yes, I work a lot and do not really spend a lot of time there. Yesterday, I managed to receive some good graces with my boss and he told me I could go home early around 6. And yes, I know it's not really early, but for me it is. I got home and I was already craving some unhealthy food in my bed. It was Friday, so yeah, I was looking forward to it. My apartment isn't that big and our door opens up to the living room. Once I pushed it open, I unwillingly saw my roommate and his girlfriend having sex in our living room. In our couch, they were startled and I immediately closed the door in front of me and said through the door, "Go to your room." After some sounds I hear his door close up. I opened the door and that was it. I mean, it's embarrassing to walk in on someone, but that can happen. It is not the end of the world. I went to the bathroom, had a shower and went to my room to watch some Netflix, and thought that was it. After a few hours my roommate took his GF home and came to talk to me. Initially, I thought he would apologize for being less than careful. However, that wasn't the case. This dude started to get mad at me for not letting them know I would be home early. He said that his GF was completely ashamed and I should apologize to her. Now, I am usually a very calm person, but this dude is right here telling me to apologize for getting in my home early, while he has a perfectly good bedroom. The apartment has a very good sound isolation due to how it was constructed. So if they wanted to go wild there, I would be none the wiser. They actively decided to do it in a place where exposition was possible. So I told him flat out, "Nah man, you read the idiot who tried to do something stupid while sharing an apartment. You didn't tell me you were planning on doing that. I had no way of knowing. I am sorry your girlfriend is ashamed, but I am not apologizing." Things escalated from that point. There was a lot of angry remarks and things said. He started to call me a hole for not being considerate. Now, if he hadn't been such a stupid person, I would not mind apologizing to his GF. I understand it's an embarrassing situation and I do not particularly have anything against her, but he got on my nerves good. So, I want to ask AITA for simply not trying to take the blame for something I had absolutely no fault on. Yeah, he owes you an apology for doing it in a common space on an item you both use. It's not the other way around. He said that his GF was completely ashamed and I should apologize to her. You redating my roommate. NTA shared space is shared space. Demanding you apologize when you reacted in the most reasonable manner possible. Shut door so you do not continue to view. Clearly request they move to the bedroom so they knew you were coming back and is unnecessary. They may be used to having the run of the place, but that does not mean you cannot be home whenever you need. Ya pop handled the entire thing like a mature adult. NTA but your roommate is dead as how do you go from being caught f***ing on a shared couch in the middle of the living room to demanding an apology for it? NTA, it's your place too. You can come and go as you please. If they want privacy, he has a room. I think the lack of time Op has spent in the apartment has given roommate the incorrect idea that it's roommate's apartment and he's just letting Op live there. NTA if he has sex in a shared area and is surprised when the person he shares it with walks in, he is delusional and expects Op to tell him when he is planning on entering his own home. Full-on delusional. NTA, they took the risk and 9 times out of 10 you wouldn't be home, but this time you were. I feel like if he had just apologized the whole thing would have been solved. You didn't even seem to care, but asked them nicely to move so you could walk in your shared apartment. They have been taking advantage of your absence and treating the apartment like their own space. NTA your friend gets full do not apologize. It's bad habit to apologize for something you literally did nothing wrong. He owe you and his GF apology, not the other way around. he and the GF both owe up an apology for being on the couch. Why would the roommate owe the GF an apology? How do you know the couch wasn't her idea? Auntie A, this isn't something where you entered his bedroom. They were having sex in a common area of the apartment. WTF. You do not owe anyone an apology. Your roommate should be apologizing to you. I feel bad about the girlfriend, but this was a screw-up of the roommate's own making. Op does not need to let their roommate know when they are coming home early. He should have told Op what he was doing until of running into a situation like this. NTA, he is being entitled, thinking that people are supposed to base their actions around his needs. If he does not want people walking on him and wants to have sex anywhere he pleases, then he needs to get his own apartment so he can have all the privacy he wants. Do not let him gaslight you. It's your home too and can come back when you please. He isn't your parent. You do not have to accommodate to his expectations. Auntie A, it was inconsiderate to do that in a common area. When you have a roommate, you should automatically expect that there are two rooms, that you get privacy in the bathroom and your room. To call you an owl is completely crossing the line when he was the one being inconsiderate to disrespect you by doing that in a room you have the right to be in whenever you want. It's like rule 1 about living with a roommate: don't have sex in the shared furniture. It's rude, disrespectful, and gross. You don't get to have sex and get your bodily fluids on furniture you share with another person. Auntie A, that was the risk they took. Isn't that part of the fun for some? Should be no harm no foul. Auntie A, they should not be having sex in the open when it's a shared apartment. They had a bedroom to use. It's not your fault they made the dumb decision. They should be apologizing, not you. If his girlfriend is so embarrassed, they should have done in the bedroom. Auntie A, not at all. It's gross that they decided it was okay to do on your couch anyway, when, as you say, they have the bedroom where they should have been. Auntie A, no, you should not have to announce your comings and goings to benefit his no pants appointment book. That's ridiculous. I am not sure who raised this guy, but it's pretty much part of the implicit roommate agreement that you do not bang on the communal furniture. Nobody wants to sit in somebody else's wet spot. Auntie A, you're supposed to apologize for entering your home. That is ridiculous. He should apologize for getting your couch all nasty. Auntie A, he was having sex in a common space. He and his GF are at fault here. Also, you hope they clean the sofa. Who would want to sit in someone else's jizz? Hope your room has a lock. Can you be sure they have not done it in your room? Auntie A, he is lashing out at you because he is embarrassed and it's not okay. If it were me, I'd start to be super passive aggressive. You owe me an apology for coming into the kitchen while I was making eggs. You need to tell me when you're going to come to the kitchen unexpectedly. Or hey, I am about to open the door. Is anyone performing an incredibly intimate and private act on the couch in our shared space that I have every right to enter? But then again, I am an NTA. He wants the courtesy of a notification. He can have it when he gives the courtesy of notifying you. It's not a one-sided thing in a shared apartment. NTA, shared spaces are not afforded any privacy. His room is his area and he can ask you to notify him before entering his room, but asking you to notify him that you're re-entering your own home is ludicrous. He should be ashamed of himself and owes you an apology for making you see that. Auntie A, not your job to manage his or his girlfriend's feelings after getting caught in flagrante delicto and turning your living room into a den of iniquity. He is lucky you're only refusing to apologize and not actually burning the couch. Auntie A, I think it's disgusting and so disrespectful to have sex on shared furniture in common spaces in the first place, and then to be pissed about being caught doing that. Nah, nothing about this makes you an just them. Geez, at least cover the couch with a blanket or something, or do it on a table you can Lysol off a couple times. That's still kind of gross though. Maybe he has a desk in his room he can use. Ugh. Auntie A, she was cool with having sex in your living room, where there's a reasonable chance you'll come walking in. They should both apologize to you for putting you in this situation, and for doing nasty things to a couch they know you'll be sitting on later. I can see being a little embarrassed BC whoops, but how did they not realize it was a risk to have sex in a shared space that failure falls squarely on their shoulders? You committed no foul by walking into your own home. Although, I am fairly certain you already know that, your roommate you do not need to let him know your every move, and he does not need to have sex all over the community rooms of the house. He is a big boy with a bedroom that has a door with a lock on it. He can utilize that if he wants to. When you share a living space with someone and choose to have sex in a common use area of that living space, you take a chance of someone walking in. For God's sake, this should have been a humorous situation, something to laugh about later, not a big drama. Sometimes people get hot and heavy and do things in inappropriate places. This type of stuff happens when you have roommates. Is it embarrassing to be caught mid-intimacy? Sure. Is it normal human behavior? Yes. Op was very respectful. He opened his front door, saw what was happening in a shared area with no privacy, and immediately stepped away to give them time to dress or move to a private area. All this is called life and having roommates. And, unless the roommate was forcing his GF to have sex, she was just as involved in the decision to get busy in a shared space with the thrill possibility of getting caught. Roommate and GF need to grow up and start acting like adults. My thought exactly. I know there were a few times with my ex that we were getting frisky in common areas of places we rented. And yeah, there was occasionally some laughing and running to be behind a door. Because we weren't stupid, we knew that there were places people totally did not expect us to be having sex. But the sex in publicly available spaces was our kink in those days. The fear of getting caught. And it made us laugh. Op, the roommate and his GF aren't children. They should have figured out that sex on the sofa can always be interrupted, and he needs his own place if that's an issue for him. You do not need to okay your comings and goings in a shared common area. They should have taken it to a room with a door. Roommate is wild to accuse you of being the owl. If they want to claim the living room, then they should pay more law. Tell them to tfo with the logic. He owes you an apology and a new couch. That's disgusting. He is not your daddy, your boss, and you are not a child. He is the one who needs to apologize to her, adding he had no idea you would be able to come home early. Possibly your mentioning the incident to her could further her embarrassment. If you had gawked at them, then yes. Do apologize for watching the show. Next, he will want to be able to track you via his phone to assure you are at least 5 minutes away. BC he might need just that much to start and finish and get dressed. If you do not want your roommate to see you and your girlfriend naked, do not FCK in the living room. You have no obligation to let him know you'll be home earlier than normal. Makes you wonder what else your roommate is up to while you're not there. I hope that your bedroom door locks. The only places roommate has an expectation of privacy are his own room and the bathroom. Shared spaces are shared spaces. Also, he should pay to have the couch cleaned, cause it seems like they've probably been doing this a lot. Yelling at you for not telling him you would be home early just sounds like he's embarrassed he got caught and is taking it out on you. If you decide to have sex in a common area of a shared house, you assume a certain amount of risk of being walked in on, regardless of what time people are usually in the house. I also personally just find it disrespectful to have sex on a publicly used space. Kinda nasty to be unknowingly, or in this case, knowingly sitting on the space your naked body was just on. But maybe that's just me. He owes you an apology, and especially he owes his girlfriend one too. I think you were perfectly respectful of an awkward situation, and now he's the one making it weird. I get that he's probably embarrassed, but he still needs to apologize to everyone involved. That's really disrespectful. Do what you want in your space, but communal areas should not be expected to be private in any way, at any time. Nor should you have to worry about what you might see when you come home. You pay your bills and should be able to come and go as needed for your schedule. I wouldn't apologize to her either. She was having sex on the couch you use. Maybe it was the roommate's idea, but she still consented to it. Having sex in shared common areas runs the risk of getting caught. They got caught, better luck to them next time. From the sounds of it, that was hardly the first time they VF'd on that couch, and they know your schedule well enough to rely on you not being home. Maybe get yourself a new couch or just a whole new apartment. NTA, and absolutely do not apologize to that girl. NTA, I would not have done what roommate did in the house that IOWN when we were renting out a room to our friend. No sex in shared spaces without prior consent. I really just see it as a consent issue. NTA, but you might consider apologizing to the GF on principle, like sorry your afternoon we got spoiled, didn't he realize you were in there, not I was in the wrong. Your roommate sounds terrible though, and he is definitely the owl. NTA, and I bet the girlfriend does not even want you to apologize. If I was her, I would far rather you never mention it again and pretend it never happened. The absolute last thing I would want to do is have a conversation about it. He has his own room for a reason. You shouldn't have to tell him every time when you will and want be home early. It's your place too. NTA, it's a shared space. That's so unhygienic and makes you think you should spray that couch. You need to set some ground rules. FCK that, you have no obligation to notify him of coming and going. You need to tell him, do not FCK on the couch. Wow, super NTA, what a jerk for trying to police your access to your own place. Sometimes I find that the best defense is a good offense. Instead of letting you get mad about their naked butts on your common space, he attacked you for having the audacity to come home to the place you pay rent. This is one of those instances when you re 100 in the right and have every right to stand on the boundary of being allowed to come home without asking his permission. NTA, but he is a huge one. NTA, the only reason you would need to apologize is if you didn't live there, it were only his house, which, because you gone so much, maybe what he told her. Yeah, that's my friend X. He has a key and comes over sometimes, but it's my place. He didn't tell me he was coming over today, babe. Sorry. You should never have to apologize for using the shared spaces in an apartment whenever you please respectfully. He isn't your parent or warden. He really does not need to know your schedule. NTA, and by the way, I did be asking the roommate to buy a new couch. Who wants to sit on a couch where somebody else has been?